Hey everybody, Will Fix here. We have another video for you today. I get the chance to spend time with my friend Maximus Crypto, and we're going to pull apart a subject and look at it real quick. I believe it's going to be of great interest to you. We're going to talk about, you guys have probably seen some of this, but we're going to talk about the implications of the new SEC chair. And also, wouldn't it be awesome if you could earn yield on XDC without converting it to RLUSD or something else? Wouldn't it be awesome if you could earn a Treasury style yield on XDC? Well, we got some good news for you coming up, don't we, Max?
We absolutely do, and basically you're gonna want to sit and listen, or in any case be, maybe you're running down the road or getting some exercise. God knows I need to. But anyway, but where the case be, we're gonna jump into all that material here in a bit. But we have just a quick little thing in regards to the Decent wallet. It helps both channels, and that's gonna come across your screen, as well as another one from Will. And here we go.
Owning crypto means you need a self custody wallet. Leaving your crypto on an exchange is dangerous. Exchanges can be hacked, exchanges can fail, exchanges can lock up. I suggest the Decent wallet. I've owned several wallets. This one has an abundance of features. I love that it has a biometric sensor where I just use my thumbprint to open it up. I love that it connects to an app on my phone, and my phone is a large screen. There's many features to the Decent wallet. Use the link that appears above here or the link in the description and get you one at a discount. It does support my channel. I appreciate it if you buy one from me, but I suggest the wallet no matter who you buy it from. Uncompromising security. Embrace peace of mind through our certified secure chip and advanced fingerprint technology, ensuring your private keys safety with encryption and offline storage. Designed for one-hand use. This is my favorite. You can pick you one up today using the link in the description or the link that's above my head.
All right, welcome back. So with that said, let's jump into the material, what we have in regards to the recent developments that were posted not that long ago, straight from Reuters. As this comes up on your screen, you're going to see it. And like it says, Trump's SEC pick likely to give Wall Street easier enforcement ride. As we got more into this, myself and Will, we did review this earlier, and key emphasis is what you're going to see here. Literally posted yesterday. Here he is. You know, you're wondering who is he and so on. We're going to get into that. His name is Paul Atkins. And just a quick summary. Atkins criticized SEC's enforcement process, voted against punishing big companies. SEC likely to focus on direct investor losses, not corporate misconduct. And, of course, just like anything, he has critics. But one thing I want to point out for you guys is this key area down here where you're going to see some things in regards to, like, Citi. Okay, so some of you guys have brought up the whole thing of Citi. Well, believe it or not, Paul Atkins voted against at least 10 enforcement actions punishing individuals and companies, including Citigroup and IBM. Now, I want to talk about this for a brief moment. You guys know that I cover a lot about Quant. I cover a lot about the Regulated Liability Network and the Regulated Settlement Network, the RSN. So, why in the world would you have a case of, basically speaking, release Gensler? Well, you're not really releasing Gensler, but he's resigning on Inauguration Day. Then bring somebody else in that is going to be against the tests that took place. Citi led the charge for these tests. They got Quant involved in regards to a lot of these tests. They got a lot of other organizations. And we know that when it comes to this, like, Quant leads a lot of this orchestration, if you will, of harmonizing some of this with TC 307. That's their standard. And of course, they orchestrate the whole thing at ISO 222. So many different ones are part of ISO 222, whether it's Hedera, whether it's Stellar, whether it's your XDCs, your Ripple XRPs, and so on. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot to go after that, right? And we know IBM and Casper when it comes to AI governance, and of course, Casper's Prove AI, and we have another video they're going to release later today to address some of that. But the point is, no, this guy from the SEC or the new SEC chair is not going to go after that. So that's a win moving forward in that
Yeah.
regard. So I just want to put out the disclaimer. Definitely want to get Will's take on that.
Well, my first take is he has more hair than Gensler, but a worse hairdo than Trump. So he's right in the middle. Anyway, now here's one of the thoughts that I had, a serious thought. Even before actual regulations are passed, written down and passed, he's going to open up. He's going to open it up a little bit just by the fact that people understand that the SEC is not against crypto, but for it. So just that alone is going to be a form. There'll be an impact, I think, on the crypto market just based on that, just based on this new guy coming in. Don't you think? I mean, it's not just the old guy going out, but it's the new guy coming in. And there's a thing in law, in implied law. There's a thing that lawyers do a lot of times that works. I see it working a lot in the government. It's the implied difference. It doesn't have to be that a regulation is actually passed. It just has to be implied that it's okay for now. Just like a lot of states stopped bringing, own bail bond companies, so we're always involved with the law. Well, there's a lot of territories that just stop charging people with misdemeanor marijuana charges. So they didn't change the law. They just changed how it's enforced. And so now we know Gary was, twisting the law, but this new guy's at least going to interpret it properly and isn't coming after us for dumb reasons, that's reasons that are getting thrown out of court. So he's not going to do that. And here's what I wonder. I wonder if he's going to make some kind of a statement to kind of free it up. Now, Trump said within 100 days he's going to pass regulations for the industry, which is great. But don't you think he's possibly going to just free it up for those 100 days also in certain ways?
Yeah, I think he will. And I think, if anything, on this particular part of the article, somewhat addresses that. Let me show you guys what we're talking about. So, back to Reuters, you see here on the screen, again, I'm going to full screen this for you. It mentions specifically that under Atkins, the SEC will likely focus on misconduct that causes direct investor losses, such as scams, rather than corporate how do you pronounce that?
Malfeasance.
We both got butchered that up. All right, we're human people. Anyway, right, where the harm is not always immediately obvious, the sources said. Critics say such an approach is dangerous because big companies can pose systemic risks and are capable of large-scale harm to investors. All right, I want to talk about that for a brief moment. I don't care if it's 100 days or whatever the case be. I want people to understand that the old approach from Gary Gensler was literally, everything is a security unless we say it's not. Okay, so basically, you're only saying that Bitcoin is the only commodity out there. And then we had to go through all this nonsense of Ripple XRP not being security and so on. Been there, done that. Here's where I'm going with this. You can see the stance that Atkins has in regards to this. He's not going to be like Gensler and cite, hey, we need to follow this outdated model of the Howey test. Right. He's going to recognize that we need something new in that regard. Well, guys, don't get it twisted. You already have something new that tested all this out in that regard, but it didn't make mainstream news. And what is that? Hello, the Regulated Liability Network. And it was orchestrated through who? Citi. And who got behind all that? Quant. And who did Quant and all these other ones, bring to the big table? They brought Ripple. They brought your Hedera's. They brought your Stellars. They brought your Zinfin XDCs. They brought some of these other key players to the Regulated Liability Network and said to themselves, look, there's ones that are ERC20s are too slow to settle it in. Quant says, hey, no problem. We're blockchain agnostic. If anything, we can switch on the overledger to settle in Ripple XRP or settle in Zinfin XDC. That's the bottom line. And the way I look at it is, all right, that's your new quote unquote Howey test, if you want to call it. I think that's a bad term to use, but for Web3. So that test already existed, but that doesn't get it reported enough. But the bottom line is this new shift, meeting up with Trump yesterday, Ripple and the team, was a big step forward.
Oh
Picking
man.
this guy is also going to be a big step forward, and I think it's a win moving forward. We're going to get into the whole thing about this yield here in a bit, but just some of your thoughts before we jump into that particular segment, Will.
Well, my first thought when you keep mentioning quant, when you look at when it gets into regulatory things, Treasury thing, man, Gilbert Verdian is all over the place with the Treasury Department, things going on in the Fed, and things going on cross border with the Bank of International Settlements. I mean, this is, I guess, just an extra bonus thought. It's unbelievable how involved Gilbert Verdian is with everything. And of course, you guys know that is Quant. He's the creator of Quant. And anyway, so while you were mentioning that, I was thinking, man, that is such a value added to the prospect of where Quant's going to go with that freaking awesome tokenomics of Quant. That this is bonus material. So I
Right.
know we got to move on to the XDC, but man, I mean, isn't
Well,
Gilbert
you guys will
Verdian? He's
see it.
everywhere.
Well, you guys will see what we're talking about. This is a solid outline, so it's not just the whole focus on the new SEC chair. It's not about just the whole thing with XDC with yields. You'll see how we piece this all together from beginning to end. So trust me, you guys are going to appreciate this. This is really cool. Let's jump into what we're talking about in that regard. Just a tad bit about Paul Atkins, even from scott.senate.gov. Again, some of you guys want to see like there are other sources other than Reuters basically sharing this. The answer is yes. So cool to see this. You're seeing this posted yesterday, but nonetheless, Tim Scott, U.S. Senator, South Carolina, Republican, it's a statement on the meeting with Paul Atkins, now nominee to serve as SEC chair. These guys met. They absolutely met. Here they are, front row center.
See what
So,
I mean about the hair? All
right.
right, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, you got to keep in mind, Will, I did dox my head over at your place, but I doxed my head about 2 years ago. Anyway, we're going to pull up now also is this. So this was one of the main highlights you guys have been waiting for. Let's get this up on your screen, full screen it, just put some emphasis. So one thing I want to jump back to, my bad, let's get to this real quick, is a while back, what did you see literally from here? You saw from here the whole thing about Wall Street, okay? So from the Reuters article, this suggests that Wall Street is set to have a much easier ride after years of aggressive enforcement, right? Of course, we understand, this whole thing of Gensler and the SEC and whatnot. But again, this guy, this new guy, well, again, back to this and him meeting with obviously Tim Scott, okay? And then we jump into this whole thing of literally Wall Street. Well, you see from yieldtech.io, and that's spelled YIELDTEQ.io, just in case you want to visit it. They have, as of a while back, some of these valuations, right? You got to keep in mind, we're not going to get the full 2024 report yet because we're now into 2025. But where the case be, we'll get some reports a little bit later. But real world assets on chain, USTY provides exposure to an ETF. Will and I talked about the want and need for the DREC Alliance. But look at this for a second. This gets really juicy because you're going to see that this is built with XDC and you're going to see that it's enterprise grade. And like it says, it's uniquely suited to revolutionize, decentralize, and liquefy the trade finance industry. You have the EVM compatible smart contract enabled layer 1, and it's geared to support a wide variety of enterprise applications. And again, why point this out to you guys? Well, a lot of you guys hold XDC, but there you go. Boil it, mash it, stick it, and stew. Earn 5.23% with US Treasuries on chain. So XDC basically built this. Wow. That's a win moving forward. And if anything, before we jump into the significance of this, just on the surface, Will, what do you think in that regard? I know you have a decent amount of XDC. I have
Yeah.
XDC as well. I'm very, very excited about this.
Yeah, I own a lot of XDC, and here's what my thought is. When you have a lot of money into something, let's say you have $100,000 in an asset. Well, if I can put that in a money market fund and earn 5.23%, then that's great. But as soon as you buy a crypto asset, unless you're able to stake it somewhere, you don't have the ability to earn yield on it. And generally, when you stake it, you have to stake it for a period of time, and you can't release it as quickly as you would want to, maybe. And you earn more yield the longer you stake it. Well, what they're presenting here is XDC earning a yield from Treasury, 5.23%, but you still have it as the original asset of XDC. So whatever the dollar denomination amount that your XDC is worth, then you're getting the percentage based on that. And as you know, that's going to be a fluctuating asset, mostly up. So it's really cool because you're earning both ways there. You can have your cake and eat it too, so to speak. And I just think that's fantastic that we can basically, with the United States Treasury, you're basically staking your XDC with the United States Treasury. And if you know about staking, it's not all as safe as you would want it to be. You know, some of it is subject to some of the companies that you're staking it with. So when you think of what they're doing here, it's it's the safest that can be. There's probably no safer offering than U.S. Treasuries on the earth right now. That's a pretty safe bet. So, man, I love it. I can't wait because I'm definitely going to go that route.
I do think it's a safe bet as well. And what we discovered on the site, just to take or save you guys some time, some of you guys are going to ask, like, well, you know, is the yield paid in US dollars? From what we discovered in the documents, the answer is yes, the yield is in fact paid in US dollars. Another question was brought up was, well, if this is the case, can't we just do this with Ripple, XRP, or anything else? Some of you guys are going to ask that. And basically, here's the answer. The use of XDC network in this specific example is likely due to several factors, but you know, yeah, there's XRP, but their focus for this particular one is to focus on trade finance, and obviously that stands out for XRP. Every time we talk about trade, XDC stands out, supply chain, and so on. So from what I've gathered, this is explicitly designed to revolutionize, decentralize, and liquefy trade finance industry. It aligns with tokenization of real world assets like US treasuries and so on. And speaking of Treasury, interesting because we talked about Quant. Check this out for size. This made recent news coming up on your screen. I brought this up in regards to the X space. By the way, join us every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We have an X space. You can follow me at DPG Maximus on X. And if anything, hopefully in the future, we could have Will as a special guest. I do this collaboration with Sebastian and my friend Channing. But check this out. 2 days ago, we did bring up the whole thing about treasury management. Did we not? This really is awesome. You see here from TMI Treasury Management International, traditional electronic money have served their purpose. Digital money will soon be setting the payments agenda for corporate treasurers. Well, possibly. It's more than possible, everybody. This was already orchestrated through the RLN, and if anything, what settles with the RSN? Your Ripples, your XDCs, your XLMs, your Hederas. TMI's Tom Allforce consults digital currency expert, yep, that's right, Gilbert Verdian of Quant, about the outlook for treasurers as more commercial banks consider a tokenized future. So again, look at this. Imagine you go to a baseball game. You know how you get those programs? Front row center, front page, why digital money can be a corporate treasury win, with who other than Gilbert Verdian, who has over 20 years experience in cybersecurity and was part of HM Treasury. Wow. Right. So they didn't just consult anybody. They consulted him because they understand what he's connected to. We talk about the orchestration of RLN. This, in my opinion, all makes sense of how all this comes into fruition. But to answer the question, guys, is smart contract capabilities. While Ripple might not be the ideal choice for this specific scenario, you have to keep in mind that they focus, of course, on payments. At the end of the day, it's the whole thing about regulatory uncertainty. So this ongoing battle is coming to a close, and you can see at the forefront what ones stand out, but they're all part of that thing of the RLN.
When you
what
add,
we settle with, yeah.
when you add what our other video was, maybe we can put the link at the end of this one for the other video on XDC. When you add to that XDC can be used, has been approved, is the only one approved to use a smart contract to wrap another coin and send it through the XDC system, and therefore use XDC's ISO 20022 compliance to do a payment. You add that to what XDC has here in this. I'm telling you, man, I'm so glad I own a lot of this asset. And we're at what, around a dime?
Yeah, very, very
I mean,
undervalued. And what he's referring to, you guys that haven't seen that video, is regards to if a BTC, yes, that slow dinosaur of all of them, right? The T-Rex of crypto, if you want to call them dino coins, some of you guys call it that. Being able to send a BTC on ISO 222 smart contract for real-time gross settlements for instant payment. How can that be done? XDC is the only one that will allow that to be done and settled, and to upgrade from 2 to 7 TPS on the Pony Express of crypto, BTC, to settle, right, through XDC for 2,000 TPS. That's a big jump. All right, how do we scale from there? 1 million plus TPS on the BIS's Bank for International Settlements N10 system, right, which is crazy in itself. But what's the catch? You have to be ISO 222 compliant. And you have to have a BIS direct partnership. That's the catch. XDC is currently the only one that will allow it. And in the future, it could be XRP and some others, but that's what we gathered in the research, and that's absolutely profound. Hey, listen, we're going to end this video because we're both on time constraints. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
Help the algorithm. Give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate and love you. And I love you, buddy Max. I know that this is the end of our time today because I got to go eat dinner, but I love you, buddy.
No problem. Here's your code word real quick, everybody, and that is finality. And we'll know that you listened to the entire outline. We won't keep you any further. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See you on the next one.